Welcome back to JIMBS. My name is Melissa Mitchell from here in Australia, Abundant Life Studio. Today, I've been asked to react to Jewish Torah exposes Sweden for burning Quran. So that doesn't sound like a nice thing to do. One Path Network, 1 million subscribers. That's a big channel. Wow. This was uploaded, 11 days ago with 300,000 views. My gosh. That is Majnun. It's crazy. I think that's crazy. Or Majnun. I'll see what this one's about. I have been to Sweden. It is a beautiful country. I'm keen to see what happened there, and if this is something that they did, or then that's obviously not great for any country to do, but we'll see what it's about. Before I hit that play button, make sure you subscribe to JIMBS so you know, and hit the notification so you know when we next upload. And if you like this reaction or this video, leave us some comments, give us the thumbs up, and share JIMBS with your family and friends, and we can all enjoy it together. All right, I'm going to push play. Jewish Torah exposes Sweden for burning Quran. Here we go.
In Sweden, you can burn this book, but don't you dare touch the Torah. A 34-year-old man has just been prevented by Swedish authorities from burning the Torah in Stockholm, Sweden, outside the Israeli embassy. Now, the man in question has made it very clear that he's not in favor of burning any scripture, and he's only proposing to burn the book to spark a debate. Now, although his intended plans will not be going ahead after the Swedish government and the Jewish community stepped in, the entire situation has left us scratching our heads. I mean, it was just last week where Sweden gave full authority for Rasmus Paludan to burn the Quran outside the Turkish embassy in the very same city. Wow. All under police protection, government approval, and of course a gigantic sum of taxpayer money funding the entire fiasco. In fact, we even witnessed the Swedish Prime Minister and Foreign Minister come out publicly to defend the depraved act, saying that although they're not supportive of what took place, it was still freedom of expression. What is going on? What exactly is this freedom of expression that you talk of? Because to anyone with a basic level of intellect, the only thing we're noticing is freedom of hypocrisy, where we have one rule for anti-Muslim speech and another rule for everyone else. Now let me be clear, burning any holy book or scripture is totally and utterly unacceptable. The Torah is a book that Muslims have utmost respect for, a book that God describes in the Quran as being one that was sent down in its original form with guidance and light. It's a depraved act to burn any religious scripture. But why the double standards? The truth is that freedom of expression is nothing more than a baton that Europe uses to clobber minorities with at their discretion. A baton that is selectively applied to humiliate some and defend others. These same European countries that sanctify freedom of expression as though it's a pillar of Iman or faith are guilty of penalizing certain forms of speech themselves. According to Swedish law, insulting the king could land you in prison for 2 years. In France, insulting the flag, 6 months in prison. In Germany, insulting the flag, 3 years in prison. In Denmark, insulting the flag, 2 years in prison. Even questioning the Holocaust in France could land you with 1 year in prison. It's hypocrisy in its finest form. You either believe in freedom of speech or you don't. You can't selectively apply it whenever it goes in your favor. And as much as people would like to position this as a discussion on freedom of expression and healthy criticism of ideas, this is not about freedom of debate. It's about the freedom to incite hate. If this was about debate, we would have no problem. The Quran itself invites people to challenge it. If they are in doubt about this book, then bring something like it. Even if it was a single chapter. Find an error in this book if you claim it's not divine. A challenge that has left its detractors with no other response but to burn the book. How pitiful. My honest advice is to stop burning and start learning. While you parade yourselves as nations that are bastions of progress and social advancement, ask yourself, how progressive and cohesive is your society truly? Where a culture of insult, obscenity, and disrespect is normalized. Perhaps you should take a read of our book and learn a bit about building a cohesive society. A book that teaches us to respect other faiths and do not insult those who invoke other than Allah. وَلَا تَسُبُّوا الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. A book that teaches us not to insult, mock, or ridicule other people. لَا يَسْخَرْ قَوْمٌ مِّن قَوْمٍ. A book that teaches us to learn from our neighbors. لِتَعَارَفُوا. To respect them and not disgrace them. Yet guess what? Even if you were to continue to burn every Quran on earth, what are you going to achieve?
Yeah.
By Allah, we make an oath that if you were to burn every Quran on earth, we will bring back the Quran within a day. Cover to cover, page to page, word for word, and letter for letter, to even the subtle vowels and diacritic marks that are on top of each and every single letter. We have 12-year-old boys and girls that will gladly recite the Quran back to you by memory. You cannot burn that which is preserved within our hearts, that which was sent down to hearts to be preserved within the hearts. So tell me again, what on earth will you achieve? Stop burning and start learning.
Wow. Wow. One Path Network. Wow. It was very powerful. He spoke really well. What I really enjoyed was, and I didn't know this, that he said that to the Islam faith, the Torah and other scriptures and you know are sacred. I didn't know that. I didn't know. And that's what I'm learning, is that in Islam, you seem to be very accepting of other religions, and you talk about you know, Jesus and the Bible, and you have the respect and everything like that. And look, and for those who are new to the channel, I'm not religious. I'm an atheist, maybe agnostic, I don't know, but probably more atheist, I would say. But that is very respectful how he spoke. I'm the type of person that I believe this video. I believe what he said. But in order for me to comment on that, I would need to read about the things that he's saying. I'm not saying it's not true. I just don't like to make a comment if I don't know the facts. So I don't know if that is true about getting jail. It probably is, if you know, insult the king and that sort of thing. I know in countries like Thailand and places like that, of course, it's a big thing to insult the king. I didn't realize that about, I mean, I've been to these countries, and I didn't realize that about it. I'm certainly not saying it's true, but I won't comment on whether that's right or wrong, because I need to read that for myself. I'm just that type of person. But he's definitely opened my eyes, and yeah, I think it is an insult to burn, you know, these sorts of things that are sacred, to burn the flag of a country, look, I live in a country where it's not an insult it's not a bad thing to insult the government. You can say whatever you want here about the government, and you won't get, I mean, if you hurt them and you threaten them, of course, but you can voice your opinions freely about any side with our government. So, you know, I think it's pretty harsh if people are, you know, sentenced to things like jail for having an opinion of the king or of, you know, certain things. I mean, we have a king here in Australia. Our king is in England. Although, you know, it's, yeah, it's, you know, it's part of the Commonwealth, but it's not, I don't know, it's a different thing here in Australia. But even not being religious, I still don't think it's okay to burn anything, whether it's the Bible or Torah or the Quran. I certainly wouldn't do that, and I wouldn't accept that if that happened. So I really liked him. I really liked this video. It's definitely opened my eyes up, and having been to those countries, and I have a Swedish friend who lives here in Australia, So that's, you know, it's a little bit, it's very eye-opening, I will say that. And it has actually evoked something in me where I want to go and learn more about that and what happened and to research that. So that's a good thing, because the video has opened me up to, oh, maybe those things do happen there. And I'm not an ignorant person. I'm a very well-traveled person. I consider myself very intelligent. I just didn't know those facts. But if that's true, then yes, it is hypocrisy. I agree. You should be able to speak your mind on any side, as long as there's no violence, no hate. Because even when COVID was on here in Australia, people got together. Now, I'm not saying I agree or disagree. I'm not saying what side I'm on, but people were rioting about being locked down. I'm not saying we should have been locked down. I'm not saying we shouldn't have. I'm just saying some of the ways they went about it were not okay. There was violence, there was disrespect, and there was hate, and it's not okay. If you want to get your point across, this video is very true. There are other ways to do it. Have a healthy debate. You do not need to burn things. You do not need to disrespect, insult, hurt people, whether it's physically or emotionally or mentally. You don't need to do that. So really good video. I enjoyed this, and it's really opened me up to want to learn more. So I think that's a really positive thing. Let me know what you thought of this video, if you enjoyed it as well. Leave your comments below, and I'd be really keen to hear what you thought of it as well. And if you've visited any of these countries and, you know, had those experiences, which is really sad. So, you know, if that happened, it's not a good thing. So thank you so much to this channel. Thank you so much to our followers of JIMBS. I hope you enjoyed this. Leave your comments below. Do subscribe and share JIMBS with your loved ones. And until next time, my name is Melissa Mitchell from here in Australia, from Abundant Life Studio, and we'll see you then. Bye.